Hi everyone, this is my journey video. So for my college project, I'm doing kind of news blog where I'm experimenting with different kinds of storytelling formats. I have some notes that I want to share right now, and as in when I get on to sharing every week, I'm going to add one more and follow up journey videos as well. So essentially, what kind of news is about is it's an experiment essentially where I want to make the boring kind of news interesting again. We know that the attention span that people have these days, it's like a goldfish's memory. Nobody remembers anything. People are not reading things. People are busy scrolling things, and on social media, essentially, we have not just the news platforms, but everybody, whether it's celebrities or influencers or sports stars or certain countries' presidents, they're trying to fight for people's attention for whatever they do. So it becomes even essential for us to experiment with these kind of news formats to kind of make sure that the fourth pillar of the democracy remains intact. So now going forward, I have some ideas. This is what it's about. I have an about page as well. I'll put that in the description of the video so you can read more about and learn more about kind of news. But essentially, in the weeks ahead, I will be sharing and exploring these five kind of. I have five and six kind of, but I don't know how I'll be exploring them, in what order to be precise. So one of them is a project which is called News and Memes. So I have done something similar in my journalism project earlier. So I want to bring that forward here again. It's a very interesting format wherein you catch people's attention with a meme first and then give them the exact story. So you kind of lure them in. You know how we have our clickbaitish headlines, essentially that, but with a tinge of humor. So one is news and memes. The second one is music. I love music, so I'm thinking I'll probably read news to some sort of either a ukulele or something like that. Three is a bedtime story. Sometimes I feel that the kind of issues that we have, they're made unnecessarily overcomplicated, and that is double-edged sword. So a, people have no attention span whatsoever, and b, if you make things more complicated, nobody's going to listen to you. So I want to cut down, get an issue, make people understand it like they're a 5-year old, and tell it that way. So like a bedtime story. That's the third. Fourth one is a rap song. So I remember I was reading in my past job as a journalist. I was actually, in fact, reading a story from one of my editors, Joel Whitnable. It was about the hallway healthcare in Brampton, still in shambles. So is other places in Ontario. So I was moved then, and I never got to work on it. But I'm hoping I can probably draft something and share that as soon as possible. The fifth part is essentially, this is something that I've thought of late, and I really want to do this because it works for a lot of us, people of color, people of diverse backgrounds that now have come to Canada and call it their home. Essentially, it's a website wherein we help people pronounce our names better. And as a journalist, I think I was first struck with this issue as such, where people can't get people's name right. Is when I was working at the CBC as a journalist. Initially, in my initial career, I was rolling the teleprompter, and then I'll have some conflicts if I would see somebody reading to what I call Indian, or some people call it South Asian names, um, not pronouncing them correctly. And on the contrary, sometimes it's a pass where the person who's being interviewed, let's say their name is Ali, they don't go outrightly out of the way to correct the host. So I think it'll solve a two-way problem. It'll also help our chase producers in the industry, where there'll be one less thing for them to worry about, as is a journalist is just bombarded with a lot of work, as is. So these are the five ideas. I'll tell you them again in that and not specifically in any order. News and memes, news related to music, the rap song, a bedtime story, and my name right, which is this thing. There's a couple of other formats as well where one is where I ask questions only. So instead of giving you headlines, I expect that you probably would have known the headlines and I just raise questions. So that's another interesting format. Yeah. And that's it for now. If I have more, I will add them on. Thanks for watching.